This is Into the Fire.
I'd like to welcome Into the Fire the flamboyant, the super talented Australian athlete, 800 metre and 1500 running guru, the man who loves to celebrate, Luke Mathews. Nice to meet you, Luke.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for the nice introduction as well.
It's all good. You started playing sport at the age of 5. You're one of those kids who are just good at everything, weren't you?
If you ask me, I'd like to say that I was pretty good at everything. But if you ask my coaches and my friends, they'd probably disagree. But yeah, I did all sports. I remember I started off doing little athletics, footy, cricket, basketball, tennis, and then at school I did a whole heap of things. But yeah, I was pretty good. I'd like to think I was pretty good at most sports. Yeah.
Yeah. Mate, let's start with the fact you are an Instagram family, aren't you? I mean, you have 20,000 followers. That's impressive. Your mum even has more followers than me. What a legend. You don't seem to be following any little blonde journalists, though.
Is that you imply that I don't follow you?
Yeah, that is. Gonna put it out there.
Right, I've been stitched up. I'm gonna follow you right now. That makes sense because your message went to request, so I'll follow you back now. There you go.
Thank you.
Well, you're followed by Finn McGuinness and Noah Anderson, Max Holmes, Jeremy Sharp, 4 AFL players. It's impressive.
Thank you. Okay, so let's get into it. I was fascinated that you play AFL before really taking the running by storm. I hear you're a real Jet. Sorry, love the puns. You played for the Western Jets. How good were you? And do you still love the game?
I played footy up until about the age of 16, so the year that until 2012, the year that I turned 17, and I was quite good as a junior. I was usually in my teams like close to being I won runners up a few times, and then when I was about 15 or 16, I thought that I was going to try to pursue the AFL way instead of trying to go down to the Olympics, because the two sports that I enjoyed the most were footy and track and field. And yeah, when I was 16, I thought that in 2 years' time I was going to hopefully get drafted. And then so I played for a representative team called the Western Jets, which is in the TAC Cup, which is kind of like the feeder program into hopefully the AFL. I think I was okay. I was pretty good, but I don't think I was good enough to get drafted. But there was also some other people around me who at the time I thought that I was better than, who now play in the AFL. So it's a bit hard to say. But if you had to ask me, when I was 16, I don't think I was good enough to get drafted, but I was just an okay park player, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a good story. In 2011, you just wanted to get drafted and spent all your energy on footy. What was the actual moment that you thought, nope, running is for me?
So I think it was actually 2012 it was the start of 2012 when I made the decision. Like I said, the two sports that were kind of the ones that I enjoyed the most were athletics and football. And yeah, when I kind of made that decision in 2011 that I wanted to try get drafted, and then I stuck to trying to get drafted. I was in the gym a bit more. I got a little bit heavier. I tried to turn my body into a footy body. And then I remember, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I remember being on the ground one day in a pre-season match. So it was the weekend or 2 weekends before the season was meant to start. And I remember being on the footy field, would have been in the third quarter, and I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I literally, the sign went, and I said to Mum, I was like, no, I don't want to play footy anymore. I want to try to do athletics. And then around that time, the World Juniors had just got announced in 2014 in Oregon, and pretty much that would have been a Saturday. From the Monday onwards, I gave up running and I gave up footy and I started back coaching. I started back athletics and training with my mum.
Yeah, nice. Now, you made the Junior World Championship semis and only just missed the final. What a buzz that would have been. Was this the moment that you thought you could do something big in the sport?
Yeah, so I made the World Juniors in 2014, and at the time, it was a really massive achievement for me. And yeah, I wouldn't say that I just missed the final. I missed the final by a fair bit, but I made the semi-final, which is, looking back, I was pretty bummed with, but now it's okay. And then you said, oh yeah, and it was actually funny when I left World Juniors, because I was actually quite the opposite of thinking that I might be able to make something of it. When I actually finished World Juniors, because I didn't make the final, I actually thought that I wasn't good enough to maybe go to the next level. So for the next let's say 6 months, I was kind of just in limbo about what I wanted to actually do with my career. But I probably didn't realize that I could be a pretty good athlete until maybe June of 2015. So almost 12 months later, and I joined a new training group, and around that time, the people around me made me realize that I was maybe good enough to be a professional athlete. So yeah, maybe 12 months on from World Juniors was probably when I realized that I might be able to make a career out of it.
Yeah, definitely. What a massive year 2016 was for you. So much happened in this year. It must have taken a year to get over it. Let's start with your first win in the Hunters Classic. Your first senior win. Bet right now you had forgotten about AFL.
Yeah, that one was I think for me personally, I trained pretty well throughout the whole of 2015, and I was only 20 years old, so I was pretty young, and I was training with a pretty professional and elite group, and I was kind of the young kid coming through, and the people that I was training with were Olympians, national champions, Australian record holders, and I hadn't really done much that had kind of proven that, I was, credible almost to train with this group. And I did 2-month-long stints in Falls Creek, and after the second one, we had the Hunter Track Classic, and I'd done a lot of aerobic and endurance training, and I was doing about 140 k's a week, and I was getting ready to do an 800, and I literally had no idea how I was going to go. But when I ran at the Hunter Track Classic, I won. I beat a really good field, and I missed the Olympic qualifier by, I think it was 0.3, or it was not much at all. And I think that kind of gave me the confidence for the rest of the year that I was good enough to qualify, and then good enough to hopefully get picked. So yeah, that was kind of a realization for me that all the hard work from 2015 and all that training was worthwhile, and it might set me up for hopefully an Olympic selection later in the year.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really good run. Your next race made you an athletics name, didn't it? Racing against world record holders and Olympic champion David Rudisha. Talk me through that race. 1 minute, 45 seconds. Fastest by an Aussie in 35 years. I bet you have seen it enough times. Talk us through it, Luke.
Yeah, that was, it was, so like I said, that 2016 year, for myself, it was just all about trying to qualify for the Olympics. And as I was saying, throughout 2015, I'd done a heap of training, really good training, and then the start of 2016, I had Hunter Track Classic. I also had 2 other races, which I think you missed, but that's a different story. But I had 2 other races, which made me realize that I was in really good shape. And fortunately for me, I had a really good opportunity at the Melbourne Track Classic to race against pretty much the best middle distance runner ever in David Rudisha. And I pretty much had perfect training for 4 or 5 months leading up to it. And even I just remember thinking that this is just a great opportunity for me to, one, not only race against him, not race against David Rudisha when I'm fit, but also hopefully qualify. And it was pretty intense leading up, knowing that I was kind of going head to head with the best middle distance runner ever. But I just got on the start line, and what I was told to do was just get on his back and hold for as long as you can. And I did that. I tried to pass him with about 150 to go, but I couldn't quite get past him. And then, across the finish line, I found out I got an Olympic qualifier. And I think the good thing about that was there was pretty much all my family was there, all my close friends, all my training partners at the time. So it was really special and a really emotional moment. And then, as well as that, it was one that I remember a lot, and I've watched a few times just because, it's first Olympic qualifier. Still actually is my PB, which I'd like to lower, but yeah. But yeah, it was a really cool night, really cool experience, and hopefully I get to do something similar to like that in Melbourne. I don't know, hopefully in the next couple of years or so.
I'm sure you will. You made the Olympics. What an achievement, mate. And yet you said you underperformed. Do you think it was the fact you may have burnt yourself out in the lead up to that made it hard to achieve your best?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I pretty much burnt myself out in 2016. I think for me, I turned 21 in June that year, and the Olympics were in August, and I was just a young kid who, for the first time in my life, was doing big, like, professional level training, and yeah, I think I would have had 6 or 7 races in Australia that year. I went over to America. I did a month-long training stint. I was in Europe. I was in and out of training camp the whole time, and I didn't really have much of a break. And instead of kind of having a break and coming back up again, I kind of tried to go the whole way through. And unfortunately, it did burn me out mentally and physically. And unfortunately, well, for me, I think I underperformed, and I think my 2 worst races of the whole year were at the Olympics. But yeah, it was a pretty intense and pretty upsetting lesson to learn at the age of 21. But I think it definitely made me a tougher and a better athlete, and made me realize and learn a lot about myself.
Yeah, definitely. How long did you allow yourself to wallow in sadness before you got back up and went again?
Wallowed. Yeah, it was kind of. I suppose I wallowed in sadness twice, I reckon. So after my last race, I had 6 days in Rio before we got the charter home with the whole team. So probably I had half a day so my 1500 heat, which was so I did 2 events. So my 1500 heat was my last event. Probably had half a day to just kind of be upset. But then as soon as I got back to the village, I had Macca's, I had pizza, I had all the bad food that you wished you were having during training camp. And then kind of after I got over that originally, I was enjoying my time in Rio with friends and family, and going out for dinner and having fun. I think that the second time I kind of came when I got back to Australia, and the dust had settled and I'd kind of moved on, and I was just in my own bubble. I suppose had a second wave or a second hit of being upset, and I think for about 2 weeks or so I was really down, and just didn't really leave home too much. I was I just wasn't really enjoying myself. And then kind of maybe 4 weeks after the Olympics, I got back to training, and I tried to just put it behind me and just forget about it and just move on and start worrying about 2017, because 2017 we had a World Championships, so I kind of had to get a foot up my ass and get going with the year after.
Yeah. Now, you're a bronze medal winner at the Commonwealth Games. Where do you keep that medal? You're not wearing it, are you? What an awesome accomplishment. What was it like standing on the medal dais?
So yeah, where do I keep it? I keep it actually I live out of home with my girlfriend, but the medal is actually at my parents' house, just in my wardrobe. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not one to. I mean, like in terms of the actual physical medal, like I'm not one to worry about medals too much. It's more about the title, I suppose. Like the fact you can say you came third, or the fact you've won a nationals. That's what I'm more worried about. But yeah, what was it like standing up on the dais? It was really good. It was so cool. I just remember we had our medal presentation in front of a packed stadium. Half the crowd was Australian. Friends and family were up at the front watching the medal ceremony, so it was awesome. The only bad thing was that instead of hearing the Australian anthem, I had to listen to the Kenyan national anthem, which it's not that that's a bad thing, but I wish that I was able to be on top and listen to the Australian anthem, because that would have been incredible. But yeah, absolutely awesome, and a really awesome experience.
Yeah, it sounds really awesome. So how are you tracking for this Olympics in Tokyo? knowing that everyone's preparation will be interrupted in different ways?
As in you're talking about for 2021, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, to be honest with you, probably not in the most ideal spot that I want to be. 2020, I was kind of injured throughout the whole year, and unfortunately, I thought that I was done with my injuries in about June or July. But since then, I've had a couple more. So I'm just coming off a recent injury. So for me, look, I'm positive and I'm confident that I'm going to get there. But yeah, look, I'm going to have to work bloody hard. So if I don't stay focused, I might not get there. But I'm trying to be positive. But it's going to be tough this year. But I've never really been in a situation like this where I've been injured at the start of the year and not knowing how I'll go. But I'll let you know in 6 months' time or 7 months' time.
I'm sure you'll make it. Okay, some random questions now. First one, Usain Bolt did a lot for the publicity of athletics. Did you get a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I did actually. So in 2017, there was a thing called Nitro Athletics, which maybe you got the chance to watch. And the way that Nitro was set, it was 5 countries, and then so I think it was Australia, China, England, New Zealand, and there must have been another one, and then Bolt All Stars. And yeah, the good thing about that was Usain Bolt was the captain, and he ran in a lot of events. Then he brought a lot of superstars over, and yeah, we got the chance to meet him and kind of be around him and stuff like that. But I met him, but that's not saying that he would remember me. But I met him. I remember meeting him, but he wouldn't remember meeting me.
He sounds like a cool guy. You should have grabbed his shoes and run off. Not sure if you get away in the first 200 meters, but after that you would have been all right.
Well, yeah, I was also with Nike at the time, so if someone had caught me we'd been on a Nike contract with Puma spikes, I might be in more trouble than just Usain Bolt.
You might be. You broke the 4-minute mile with the legendary John Landy in attendance. What a great achievement. Bet you're proud of that.
Yeah, it's actually funny you said that. I was actually doing a podcast the other day, and we're talking about the legends of Australian distance running, and we're talking about John Landy, Herb Elliott, and among many others. But I was recapping the story about in 2016 when I was at the Vic Mile Championships, and I thought it was my coach at the time thought that it was a great opportunity to break 4 minutes. And I didn't know until I got on the start line that I think it was actually the 100th running ever of the Vic State Champs for the mile. And yeah, I was just kind of locked in, ready to go, focused, nervous. And then over the announcer said that that the person presenting the field was actually John Landy. So John Landy, yeah, kind of shook our hands, just said a couple of things, and then I think he might have fired the gun. I'm not sure. But yeah, I ran 3:56 for the first time ever going under the 4-minute mile. And it was, yeah, so John Landy watched, and then he also presented our medal afterwards. So really cool experience.
That would have been awesome. So I heard a rumour that you screamed for your girlfriend to come running and kill a daddy longlegs spider. Is that true?
Oh no, that's you've dug up something with that. Yeah, I'm what you'd call, I've never been diagnosed, but I definitely have arachnophobia. So I'm petrified of spiders.
Me too.
And yeah, I'm not sure what started it or what it was, but yeah, I can't even really look at spiders on TVs or phones or anything like that. But yeah, even if there's a spider in the house, even though I'm the man of the house, I'd probably get my girlfriend to kill it instead of me, because I want nothing to do with that.
Don't worry, you're not alone. Chicken palmy is your go-to meal. My dad said after hearing that, he's now saying he's an athlete. Then I read that you were 70 kilos. So no, he's definitely not an athlete. I'm a big fan of the palmy.
Yeah, the palmies were bloody awesome. Wait, do you go on palmies in Adelaide, do you?
Yeah.
Nah, we in Melbourne call them Palmers. So I'm a chicken Parma fan. But yeah, I do love them. I definitely love them a bit more than I should. And I'm almost guaranteed that my coaches don't like me having them either because they're just, what are they? Pretty much fried chicken with cheese and ham and sauce and then chips on the side. So I love them, but I think I might hold off having them for the next few months.
Damn it. Okay, Luke, I have a little something I want to pass on to you. This will take you from those heats in the Olympics to the final. You are so talented, guy, and all Australians would love to follow. You are the exact person Aussies love. But there's something holding back from making all those dreams come true. That one thing that will push you harder, it's the celebration. You try hard here, but it doesn't really cut it. I'm going to give you the best celebration in the world sport, the Into the Fire.
That's awesome. Maybe, well, look, I haven't raced in a little while, but maybe the next race, fingers crossed that I win, I'll have to do that one. What is it? Into the Fire.
You have to keep practicing, but
That's
it's
awesome.
good.
Have you pulled it out before?
Pulled it out before? No, I haven't pulled it out myself before, but maybe I need to set it done.
Maybe I'll do it and trademark it so you can't steal it off me.
Actually, one person has done it, Rashid Khan, so that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
You should be the next one.
Yeah, I just got to get into a race and win first. I might not win for a while, so if next time I win, I'll try to do it.
Oh, you got it. Well, I can't thank you enough, Luke, for coming onto my show. You're a legend of a guy, and I can't wait to watch you in the green and gold.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Hopefully I get there, and then hopefully, next year's Com Games and World Champs, and then year after World Champs, and hopefully another Olympics. So hopefully a few more, and hopefully get to see you on a team soon as well.
I hope so.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, mate.